Quite a few of you will know who Ed Lawrence is. He's the chap that wears the cool glasses. He's one of my biggest mentors in the content creation space. I'd even say he's a good friend. But 14 hours ago, he uploaded a video and I think we could have a problem. Let's listen to it.
And the lie is that short form is faster and easier to make than long form YouTube videos. But let me just show you why that's complete nonsense. So here I've got these two glasses, one for YouTube and one for short form. And then I've got these M&Ms. And every M&M represents one task you have to do to get a result. So let's start with YouTube. Now, I recommend that businesses post 4 videos a month to YouTube. So in terms of tasks to complete, that is 4 hooks, 4 scripts, then we got to make 4 thumbnails, then we're going to shoot them all in one batch, then we're going to edit them, so let's edit 4 videos, then we're going to post them, and we're going to track 4 videos results, and that's kind of it. But now let's compare it to the work you have to put in to get short form to work for you. So a lot of the advice you're going to see online about how to grow on these platforms is going to tell you to post one piece of content every day. So that means you need to come up with 30 ideas, which is without doubt the hardest part of this all, then 30 hooks, then 30 scripts. But then we're going to have to do 30 edits. And this is where it gets really time consuming because the advice you are given is to post short form videos across multiple platforms. So what that means is we then have to upload 90 pieces of content. And then we need to write 90 descriptions to go below those videos because that's how short form videos work now. Everyone's reading the description below, not watching the video. And then we need to track the performance of 90 different pieces of content and reply to 90 different places where dirty little trolls are going to send us horrible things. Look at this! So whoever managed to convince the world that short form was easier must have been called Mark Zuckerberg, because clearly that is a lie.
Ed is right about a lot of what he says, but I feel he's missing quite a bit of nuance from the table. And it's important you get the full story. I've amassed over 500,000 YouTube subscribers, ironically, solely through the purpose of working with Ed. However, short form content has changed my life, my businesses, and I became a Sunday Times #1 bestselling author 3 times just with short form content. I actually sold out the Hammersmith Apollo, 3,500 people just with short form content. So I want you to absolutely go away and watch Ed's video. I'll put a link to it in the description, but there's some things that you need to think about first. Ed is completely correct saying that if you post 4 times a month, there's a lot less M&Ms in that jar. But what's crucial in the onset of content creation is feedback. Feedback from videos that do well, feedback from videos that don't do well. So if we were to create a jar of M&Ms, the sole purpose of which was to give us feedback from what we trialed in that video, you would only get 4 M&Ms back a month versus 30 that you would get from doing short form content. Ed talks about only creating 4 hooks, 4 setups, 4 ideas, but the majority of your ideas, hooks, and setups in content are shite. Volume is such a key component to growth on social media. And I'm not talking about social media. I'm not talking about your followers. I'm not talking about subscribers. I'm talking about you. The growth is you. How you speak, how you present yourself, your pacing, your cadence, how you edit, even becoming comfortable talking to camera. I would much rather you did that 30 times a month than 4. Because if on a Monday you put half an hour into a piece of content and it bombs, on Tuesday you can start fresh. If you put a week into creating a video and it bombs, that's a week of low confidence, potentially low mood, low motivation. And for me, I'm a very impulsive person. Ed in his video talks about how he strategizes and plans and whatever. I watched his video on the way back from Sydney just now. I drove past my house to the studio to film this video off the fly with no planning, no strategy. I have a rough idea of my thumbnail. And I think an analogy that sums this up really well would be what Alex Hormozy said on Chris's podcast. And I'll show you the clip here.
Have you heard the story of the pottery class? There's a teacher and he's got 2 classes that he teaches. And one class, he says, the only assignment for this whole semester is that you come back with a perfect clay pot. That's it. That's the assignment. The other class, he says, your objective is to make the most total quantity of clay pots, and you'll be measured by how many pots you make. And at the end of the quarter, the pots that came from the team that had to just make sheer volume, not only did they make more pots, but the quality of all of their pots was better compared to the teams that only had to make 1. And it just underlines the biggest lesson that I've learned in my life, which is that volume negates luck. You can try to be lucky and pick the one perfect thing and try and make it, but if you don't want to try and be lucky, you can just do so much fucking work work that you will brute force your way to figuring it out.
Instead of seeing it as YouTube versus short form content, let's look at both of these as tools to utilize when developing a personal brand. If you are putting more than 45 minutes into a reel, I think you're putting too much effort into it for a start. But rather than looking at this as something that just gets you clients, let's look at short form content as something that gets you reps. Because early on in my journey, posting every day was who made me on social media. It was the reel that I put a little bit too much swearing in that performed better that made me swearing content. There was the one time that I drank too much caffeine before recording a reel and it did a bit better. So I mixed a lot of caffeine and swearing and I had my first outlier. The 27-year-old version of me that was in the PT changing room making reels between clients, if you'd given me the task of creating YouTube videos, you would have overwhelmed me. And if you'd asked me to make 4 YouTube videos and they all did pretty average, which they would, I would have just stopped. Now, Ed and my business model could be a little bit different, but think about this. The majority of people that are perfect to work with me already have businesses that pay the bills. Whether you're a physio, lawyer, accountant, personal trainer, my approach is more migrating you to 10% of your business is online, then 20%, then 30%, then 40%. And in some cases that could take weeks, in some cases that could take months. The perfect step from in-person business to me is short form content. Then I would get you onto YouTube. But I would send a very confident version of you that's made hundreds of videos, that's eaten a lot of shit, that's had a lot of outliers, that's had a lot of repetitions of using Premiere Pro, DaVinci, CapCut, whatever it is. Then stage 3 would be sending you to YouTube. And I would agree with all of Ed's points about the people on YouTube being better. Thus why I'm making this video on YouTube right now. But let me show you something. If we go into my YouTube studio, go to analytics, and let's go to all time. £100,000, who's got that? I haven't. So you'll notice down here, 2017, I created a YouTube account. I tried growing on here and there was a few hundred followers here and there and it slowly grew over time. Keep in mind, I posted my first thing on social media in 2014. Nothing really takes off here till 2022. So you got to ask yourself, why did it take you 8 years to start growing on YouTube? And the answer is, I wasn't man enough. I wasn't organized enough. I didn't understand YouTube well enough. I couldn't even afford a camera for the first few years. I didn't know how to edit. I was too busy doing personal training sessions. I think going from step 1 to step 3 for most people is too big a step. If it wasn't for all of those videos that I created in 15 minutes and turned around in 30 minutes, my brand wouldn't have been in a position to even start a YouTube channel or have the luxury of building a studio. I wouldn't have got that video that Lad Bible did a piece on me to go viral. So much content over the years for me was reactive. I didn't have a chance to plan it and strategize it and pick thumbnails. I had to see a news article drop in the morning. The UK went to sleep and I'd have an edit ready in the afternoon. It was the ability to turn around and edit in a day that made me who I am and helped me achieve what I've achieved. Short form content taught me to speak to camera. And I'm not patient enough. Even now, I don't put out 1 video a week because I am here making as many pots as I can. And guess what? Even now, 12 years into content, I still have to go here and look at my best videos to get an idea of what's actually working on my channel. I do the same on the other one. To me, volume is such a key player in improving competence. The same way that if you wanted to get good at jiu-jitsu, I'd say go every day. You might say I'm really sore. I'd go to training sore because you're going to develop a game for being sore. You're going to have to learn how to get good when you're tired. Some of you out there should be using short form content, not because it's the most effective, not because the audience is good, not because you're going to get more clients from there, because it is a great place to get daily repetitions. Even in the fitness industry, the reason that we set someone 10,000 steps a day is we have to give them something they can do every day, because that's how you truly get in the mindset of becoming about your fitness journey, the same way that creating content every day puts you in the mindset of switching into content creation. You should be reactive, you should be spotting trends, you should be able to just talk to your phone. I don't think enough people are just pressing the plus button on their phones and just talking, just updating the world about what it is that you do. We've also overlooked stories. I've had sometimes over 250,000 people watch my stories. That's like me stood in the biggest stadium in the world in front of all of those people. And although they're watching me do random shit like walking the dog or whatever, it's part of my brand to build with those people. And another thing we're overlooking as well here is the amount of impact that we can get from things like carousel posts, the integration of chatbots. And I know I could be taking a little bit of Ed's argument and making it my own, but for so many of you, short form content is going to make you the creator you need to be on YouTube so that when you hit your first video, you're confident. You know what to look in the viewfinder to know that your audio's on. You have an SD card. You know how to edit. It's like pre-season for the big leagues. The moment I was man enough to go to YouTube, I went to YouTube. I love YouTube. But for me, as a disorganized, ADHD-brained, blithering idiot, short-form content was easy. I never wanted to have a big social media account. I just wanted clients. And I just think that if you'd stuck me into YouTube earlier, I would have got overwhelmed and quit, and I wouldn't have done the things I did, and I wouldn't have gone on the path I've been down. Maybe I'm just saying this because I sell a short-form content mastery course. But one of the best principles I can teach you from being a personal trainer for all those years is progressive overload. Some of you are just not good enough at creating content yet to go to YouTube. And let me tell you this, YouTube is stressful, it's depressing, You care about it more, you have to put more into it. It's a beast. And short form for me was very manageable on my own. To survive on YouTube, I had to hire a team. Stage 1, get good at something, acquire skills in a domain that you enjoy or you're good at. Stage 2, post a lot of short form content, get comfortable on camera, learn how to edit, learn how to speak to camera, build confidence. Stage 3, migrate to YouTube when you're a bigger, better creator. For me, that took years, 8 years. Don't wait as long as I took. Pretty much what I'm saying is, click the link in the description, buy my short form content mastery course. Then when you finish that, you've got your reps under your belt. You might just qualify to join Ed's course. I suppose I'm protective over short form content because of what it's done for me in my life. Season 1 of my career was all Instagram and Facebook. I would create one reel, put it in 3 places. Sometimes Facebook would go viral, sometimes TikTok, sometimes Instagram. And chapter 2 of my life is heavily on YouTube. I'm grateful for both stages. And although I agree with Ed, I think YouTube's much better. I just don't think some of you are there yet. I'll say that from a place of love. I've eaten shit on YouTube enough times. If you don't know who Ed is, I put a link to his page in the description. Like I say, he's changed my life for the better. And if you're not interested in that, YouTube recommends that you should watch this video here. Says if you're a smart bugger, you'll enjoy this one. All right, bye-bye.